Baseball is a very difficult sport, but the Seattle Mariners seem to be making it way more difficult than it should or needs to be. What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back and welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners lose this one and the series tonight to the Orioles 3-2. They fall to 32-28 on the season. They remain in second place in the American League West. As always, before I go any further, if you can hit that like button, helps out. Comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you are new or lurking. Channel members, we will be live on Friday for the play-by-play, hang out, talk about the Mariners and Angels game. So come on in, hang out. We'll have some fun. If you're not a channel member, think about becoming one. Live streams are usually a lot of fun, and we have a good time, win, lose, or draw. No draws in baseball, but you never know. The Mariners would find a way. Yeah, it's just like everything with this team is, even when they do some things right, they do it wrong. The Cal Raleigh go-ahead RBI single sums it up right now. That sums up the Mariners. A base hit to take the lead, and they still find a way to kind of screw it up with Cal getting thrown out at second. You know, not to pick on it, Cal's been great, and that's great, the go-ahead single. That just kind of sums up the Mariners. They're their own worst enemy in many ways. And it's just like, as soon as they do something good, they've got to immediately follow up with something bad. They can't just get a base hit and leave it at that. No, they got to have a runner thrown out. Then they can't hold the lead, and the bullpen gives it up in the seventh. The offense, again, getting shut down by starting pitcher and Povich that they need to do more against. They do. In April, when the offense was cooking, you know, I can excuse these things because it does happen, right? You're not going to go out and score 10 runs every night. But Zagato and Povich shouldn't be dominating like this. And if you're an Orioles fan, watch this. Don't mean this offensively at all. Orioles look like they're starting to get locked in and playing some good baseball here for sure. Their pitching can level out a little bit. They might have a chance to crawl their way back into it a little bit. But you've got to do better. Povich has been bad. Go look at his StatCast page. He's been slightly above league average at strikeouts. Everything else is below. Everything else on there is below average. You've got to put up better at-bats and do a better job against a pitcher like that. And I feel like this is just a recap of last year's recaps. Yeah, not asking for 10 runs off of them in 3 1/3, but you should be able to put 3 or 4 up against these guys. And then that probably would have been enough today. You know, the bullpen, we talked about the Twins series where blowing 3 leads in the 9th. Today they do it in the 7th. Like, can we just hold a lead? And this is more on the offense. Most of these have been. I don't want to harp on the bullpen too much, but like, could we just finish off a game, have some easy innings, and win these? No, okay. Everything is difficult for this team right now. I said it so many times. I talked about it yesterday. Every win just feels like it's taking, and winning's hard. Like, go ask the Rockies how, easy winning is. But in April, they made it look easy. And I talked about this yesterday. You turn the game on, you just always felt like they were going to find a way. And right now, it just feels like it's taking every little bit this team has to win a baseball game. Like every single ounce. It's like when you're sick and you're puking and you can't move and you eat that saltine cracker and you're like exhausted after it, right? You're like, oh my gosh, it's like you feel like you ate a 12-course meal, at the buffet or something. It's like you had one saltine cracker because you're sick. It's tough. That's how the Mariners feel. Like, they're eating the saltine cracker and they're still not getting it done. This is the weirdest analogy ever, but like, they just can't do it. It's like, come on, just find a way to win these games and don't make it look so difficult, but they just do. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. It's frustrating. It's not good baseball. It's very 2024. Right? Or 2023 or even 2022 or 2020. It's just same stuff. Emerson Hancock deserved better today. He threw the ball really well against a Orioles team that can mash right-handed pitching. Doesn't get a win. Offense lets him down. Talked about with Kirby yesterday. Wasn't great, but he's certainly good enough. And I can't even come on here and say, well, Logan Gilbert's coming back. I mean, it's going to help. You want Logan Gilbert back for sure. But it's not like Emerson Hancock gave up 9 runs today. I can go, well, hey, you got Logan on the mend. Luke Raley is really the only player on the men that can help this. And I love Luke Raley. I think he's a really good player, but I don't think it's going to make that much of a difference where, maybe you win one of these with Luke, but It's just, this team is just fighting itself. It feels like they're playing against themselves a lot out there. Like their last 2 wins, they blew out the Nationals in the first game, lost the next 2. Before that, even if we go back to the Houston series, the 1 win they had to come back and rally in the 7th inning. They beat the Nationals the first game. That was a good win. They blew them out. That was fine. Then they lose the next 2. Then they blow the game to the Twins. Then the 2 they win. And I don't want to take away, it was a good series win against a good Minnesota team. But even that, it was like blowing the leads and having to come back and win in walk-off fashion. This team has not had a lot of wins that I can remember since maybe the Padres series. Truthfully, even the White Sox series was all like coming from behind late in the 3rd game there. Like the Padres series was the last time this team went out, got some runs on the board early, pitching locked in, held it, bullpen held it, and they won. That was the last time this team had like a conventional win, was the Padres series, and the 1 game against the Nationals. I'm not asking for blowouts. That's hard to do. It's why those are fun and satisfying, because you don't see them that often. But I'm asking for like a 4-1 win where the pitching's dialed in, bullpen gets it done. Offense doesn't have to be amazing, but just does just enough to get it done. The Padres series was the last time they won any games like that. Any games like that. Let's get into the scoring recap here. In the bottom of the 4th, Randy Arozarena was out on a sacrifice fly that made it 1-0 Mariners. Top of the 6th, Adley Rutschman homered on a fly ball to right field that tied the game at 1. Bottom 6th, Cal Raleigh singled on a line drive to left. He was thrown out at second. It scored Ben Williamson to make it 2-1 Mariners. Top of the 7th, Kierstad tripled on a line drive to right that scored Urias and Kobe Mayo to make it 3-2. The triple wasn't even the problem. It wasn't hit that hard. It was down the line. It's the walks in that inning that came back to bite you. It's the free passes. The triple, if you don't walk the guy, well, Kierstad wouldn't have come up in that spot, but like it's not the triple, it's the walks. It's the free passes there that led to that. And, even when this team, like I said, even when they do score, like in was it the 3rd or 4th when Randy had the sac fly? In the 4th, 1st and 3rd, nobody out. You got to score more against Povich in that spot. What great sac fly. Like it was hit hard. Awesome. But you've got to do more in that inning. That 6th inning, they had, what was it again, 2nd and 3rd or 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Cal gets the single, just stay at first. You could have a big inning there. Then that Julio ground out, even if they turn 2, you still go up 3-1, maybe you win the game. I was a little surprised that was overturned with the call of JP at home plate there. I didn't see enough evidence. Maybe someone can correct. I'm not going to harp on that too much. But from the angles I saw, I didn't see enough evidence to overturn it. But maybe there was an angle that showed that JP was out. I know some people did say the angle from the 3rd baseline looked like Rutschman clearly tagged him. Just from the angles I saw, I listen, had the call been out, I think it should have stood out, but I didn't necessarily see enough to overturn it. But maybe I missed an angle. That's definitely possible. I was kind of in and out watching it a little bit at that point, not in and out watching the game, but just that play. So I didn't see all the replays. Valley and Aaron Goldsmith seemed pretty confident at one point that one of the angles did show a tag, but I didn't see it. But whatever. Even in the 9th inning, like, Felix Bautista, listen, you're not going to get runs off Felix Bautista. This team's not going to score against Sagano and Povich. They're not going to score against Bautista. But like, it was funny at one point, Aaron Goldsmith was like, crowd is on their feet in the 9th inning. And they were, it's not Goldsmith's fault. They were on their feet on the sides, but they show behind home plate. The first thing I saw was probably looked like a kid 12 to 15 years old. And he's yawning. And he's just yawning. And I'm like, that sums it up perfectly. Like, even the fans are just kind of like, whatever, a little bit. I did think Rowdy almost had that one in the 9th inning. Off the bat, I thought he got it for a split second. I actually thought that was a decent matchup for Rowdy. Bautista throws that, hard fastball and the splitter. Didn't really have a feel for the splitter, so I thought he'd go with the fastball. Rowdy's a good fastball hitter. And I do wonder if that's gone a little bit to the right, if he pushes that to the right a little bit, if maybe that does get out. But it's not getting a run off Bautista. It's all the other stuff. It's in the 8th inning, like Soto versus Ben Williamson, perfect pitch to strike him out. But, you got Ben Williamson swinging at 3 pitches that are well outside the zone before that. He works a walk. JP works a walk. Who knows? Even Cal in that 8th inning, That was a hanging slider right down Broadway, and he swings through it. I get he's probably kind of sitting fastball in that spot, but you also got to know that like they would rather walk Cal and throw a breaking ball, in the dirt than give up the home run to him. You got to do something with that pitch there. Um, it's just everything they were doing right in April, they're now doing wrong. And they're not getting a lot of breaks either. I mean, they hit 3 foul balls today that I thought could have been home runs. Cole Young had one. Dylan Moore had one down the line that looked like it could get out, and then JP in the 8th. So, like I said, even when they're doing something right, it's still wrong. And that's kind of how the team feels right now. They're not doing a lot right. Let me be very clear on that. But the few times they do, it just still ends up being a mess. Like I said, in that 4th inning, they got 1 run, needed more. The 6th inning, they get the hit, they're thrown out. They get thrown out at home. They can't rally against bullpens. The bullpen, as soon as the offense manages to actually get a run and take the lead, they give it right back up. Just frustrating. Let's get into the box score, and I'm going to get out of here. I don't have much to add. Emerson Hancock, 5 2/3, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, 2 walks, 6 Ks. He was fine. Emerson deserves a lot of credit. Again, continue to be very impressed by what he's done. It's unfortunately he only has 2 wins because he certainly deserved more than that and really threw the ball well. Gave up the home run to Rutschman, but again, gave up 1 run in 5 2/3. That's totally fine. If you would have told me that before the game, I'd sign up for any pitcher giving up just 1 run. Gabe Spire throws an inning, no hits, gives up a run. It was earned, the walk and 3 strikeouts. Can't give up free passes. They come around to bite you. Spire was really good, except for that walk, and that walk bit him. Vargas threw a 1/3 of an inning, gave up that triple, also walked a batter and gave up a run. Again, it's the walks for me there. It's not so much the triple. It was exit velo 79 down the line. That does happen, and it was frustrating. An 0-2 pitch. It's the walks. There. Brash throws a shutout inning in the 8th, and Legumina throws a shutout inning, giving up a hit and a walk in the 9th. Casey Legumina's back up, calling Snyder to the IL. Definitely felt like something was off with Snyder. I thought maybe he'd be DFA'd, but if they can IL him and work on something even better, keeps him in the organization, that's totally fine. He was just getting hit way too hard. He either had to be DFA'd or there's an injury going on there, because the last few times Snyder's been out there has been brutal. Offense puts up 5 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks. JP was 0 for 2 with a couple walks. Cal was 2 for 4 with the RBI single. Like, I'm not mad at Cal, right? Like, has the double, has the base hit. But like I said, just this team not getting some of the little things done right. Julio does have a couple hits. I thought his at-bat in the 6th was a tough one, though. Got to do a better job there. Got to make sure you get that run. And I know it was a close play at the plate. And it's kind of been a microcosm. We talk about this a lot in these box scores, right? Guys get 2 hits, but it's not really when you need that. I mean, you can always use a hit, but in the most crucial at-bats, they're not coming through. And that was an at-bat in the 6th, so that was a big run. Obviously the triple would have tied it, but I don't know if it would have played out the same. Who knows? Maybe Spire and Vargas aren't nibbling as much with a 2-run lead versus a 1-run lead. And it could have changed a lot of things. They needed to bring that run home in that situation. Julio's got to get it done there. His first pitch swinging, weak ground ball, and yes, it was close play, but still got to be better at bat than that. Randy was 1 for 3 with the sac fly. Did get the 9th inning rally started there, but it was an infield hit. But hey, against Bautista, you'll take it. Mitch Garver was 0 for 3 with a walk. I've talked about it. I'm kind of just done with it. I mean, Garver's only thing he does is walk, which, if he can draw a lot of them, great. But that's even kind of disappeared recently. Bautista just didn't really seem to have it in the 9th inning today. Still, of course, he's so good. He's able to find a way to get through it. With Polanco really scuffling, I wouldn't be against Harry Ford coming up because he can DH some and then be the backup catcher. I don't think they're going to do that right away, just because I think with catching, a couple people have asked me about that. Garver's worked pretty well at the pitching staff, so that's a big change sometimes for pitchers to go to a new catcher if they bring up Harry Ford. But I do think Garver and Solano have got to be down to the last couple weeks here. Solano's certainly, I think, easier to replace, but Garver has the better player that can replace him, if that makes sense. And the reason I say that, again, goes back to kind of the catching. If Garver's working well with the pitching staff, and I'm not saying I think he should still be here. I'm just giving the reasons why he probably hasn't been DFA'd yet. It's just that he's actually done, I think, a decent job behind the plate and working with the staff, so they don't want to just throw that away and have Harry Ford come up, possibly struggle in that spot. And that's a lot to put on him, and he's not going to be able to catch a ton with Cal being here, obviously. So you'd have to find Harry Ford the DH at bats. With Polanco scuffling, I think you definitely could, for sure. So I don't think it's like a bad idea to do it. Solano, I don't fully trust Tyler Locklear, but you could do, I mean, heck, you could bring up like a Samad Taylor and probably get more value and have, Rowdy just play first full time. And you'd be better off. The thing for Garver, that's just the slugging's gone. And again, I'll keep reiterating, one home run, it's off a position player. Just even if at this point, I would take 2024 Garver. At least he kind of mashed left-handed pitching and would be giving you some value. He's just not doing it. It's not doing it. I think it's time. I think if after this next road trip, something doesn't click, I think we may see some moves made there. Mastroboni pinch ran. Dylan Moore was 0 for 2. Polanco, Taveras 0 for 1. Solano 0 for 2. Rowdy 0 for 2. Young 0 for 3. Williamson 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch. Bottom of the order is really just bottoming out. Obviously, Cole Young, you're going to be patient, give him time. The guy's played 4 big league games. I did hit a couple balls hard, the foul ball and then a fly out. But, you're getting 0 from Leody. Taveras had a couple nice hits on that road trip. I mean, I'm fine with Taveras as your 4th, 5th outfielder. He can pinch run. He's there to give guys days off and stuff like that. So I'm not against him being on the roster. But, this is where I think the Robles and Luke Raley injuries are rearing their ugly heads a little bit. Ben Williamson has really cooled off, And again, I think Williamson's helped. I do. Diamondbacks continue to slide. Wouldn't mind an Eugenio Suarez reunion. I think that would make a ton of sense for the Mariners. So we'll see if that's something they entertain here. But yeah, Williamson really scuffling. And again, I think he's been fine defensively. And I do think when Polanco was really dialed in, Williamson really helped because it allowed Polanco just DH and Ben took over third. And like I said, if he give you a 705 OPS, you take it. But right now it's sitting at 574. Obviously, this is not Ben Williamson's fault or anything like this scuffle, that the team's going through. But the bottom of the order is just off its game. Shame because Emerson Hancock's been throwing the ball really well and deserved a better fate. But well, at least we're used to this, right? We know what it's like to get good pitching and have the offense struggle. In April, there was a little confusing when the pitching was struggling and the offense was dialed in. So at least we're back in a comfort zone to some extent. Bryan Woo goes tomorrow. I'd be lying. I obviously have faith in Bryan Woo. I don't have a lot of faith in the way the team is playing right now. They just got to get a win somewhere. And, hopefully it carries into a hot streak because sometimes baseball can be a game of streaks. And, hopefully they can find it somewhere. Maybe it starts tomorrow with Bryan Woo on the bump. Ugly homestand because they're now 1 and 2, 3 and 5. It's another losing homestand, back-to-back losing homestands. 4 and 5, you can at least salvageable. 3 and 6 is pretty ugly. And this is a Baltimore team that's playing better ball, but has not been good. They have not been very good overall. And, they're certainly playing better ball than the Mariners as of late. And maybe they get it turned on here. Wouldn't shock me that the talent is there. But we are, 60, 65 games somewhere into the season. Teams are what they are. And if you look at the Mariners, they're 4 games over 500. Their run differential's +3. That's kind of mediocre. That's kind of what this team looks like. The Mariners just don't do mediocre by playing mediocre, though. They go hot and they go cold. But it still ends up kind of the end product finding its way to the middle, right? They just don't do it normal, like normal teams would do it. Win tomorrow. Hopefully they can find a way. Hopefully Bryan Woo's dialed in and this offense can do some damage. I just don't have a lot of faith right now. Getting Raley back will help, but his rehab assignment's not till next week. It still probably puts him around. We talked about the All-Star break. That's probably about what you're looking at, maybe a little earlier than that. But, and again, I love Luke Raley, but that's not just going to automatically fix everything. Be better. Have a great night, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.